What happened to you to make you stop breathing in your sleep? Have you been diagnosed with incurable sleep apnea and told to use a CPAP machine or you will die from a stroke or a heart attack? Or are you someone who thinks you may have sleep apnea because oxygen deprivation makes you absolutely miserable? Or are you someone who stays half awake all night because your partner stops breathing in his or her sleep? If this is you, the following testimonial could help you get beyond sleep apnea and get your life back. There are two types of sleep apnea, and one of them is curable, but you won't hear that from sleep specialists. For millions of people, central apnea is caused by traumatizing events. I'm Dr. Damaris Drury, trauma resolution specialist, and I know what causes central nervous system apnea and how to completely eliminate it. So talk to me before you go to a sleep clinic. Set up a 45-minute consultation with me today. I work online worldwide. Please subscribe and hit the notification bell. This is Damaris Drury, and I'm with Phil Jackson and his wife, Kathy Jackson. So Phil and I work together for central nervous system sleep apnea. It's been about 2 years. He had, I believe, 5 sessions, and life was difficult then. You had an MS diagnosis?
Well, when I was going to the sleep doctor, sleep doctor, I slept at the hospital in the room, and I had nothing but problems with the CPAP machine. I didn't sleep all night. I was totally confused with the whole thing, and I brought the CPAP machine home and just quit using it. I almost choked to death, and it was nothing but problems. So it caused the MS-like symptoms to come on to me as I couldn't breathe, and it was just a bad trip.
Phil has a very interesting history. Phil was a jockey. Say a little bit about that.
Well, I rode racehorses for a living for 9 years, and I had spills from the horses. I had several spills from the racehorses.
You broke your back twice?
Yes, well, it was a compression fracture of T9 and then T11.
And how many times would you say you went flying over the heads of horses?
About 6.
Many times. Yeah.
You played football?
I played football, yes, and then when I got to college, I found out that I was not big enough to play football in college, so that's when I found out about racehorses.
And how many times did you have, oh my God, I'm going to die experiences playing football?
Oh, those were numerous things. Like you get your breath knocked out and things like that. I remember one time in particular where we punted. Our team kicked the ball to the other team, and the other guy was about to catch the ball, and I hit him at the same time. He caught the ball and basically it knocked me out and knocked him out too. That was a traumatic situation, but so it was okay. I got up and kept going. But,
okay, so in my experience of working with sleep apnea, central nervous system sleep apnea, it's where the brain fails to signal the body to breathe. And what I've found in the 8 years of working with it is it's because there's another program running that says, I'm going to die. Oh my God, or something like that, paraphrasing. Oh my God, I'm going to die now. And so the body takes that literally. And that's what happened with you. And we didn't really know that until we got into it.
Yeah.
But the more that we worked through the sessions, the more there was an overarching theme over all of your traumatic experiences. And that theme was flying through the air, and not necessarily with the greatest of ease.
Right. It goes back to what encouraged me to learn how to fly, to become a pilot. We were landing on a frozen highway in a snowstorm. We took off in a snowstorm, which was a surprise. Then we landed on a highway above the mountains, north of Albuquerque towards Santa Fe. And that time, I thought I was gonna die. We were coming in for landing, and the pilot that I was with said, "Just watch for trees and poles and things." We were landing on the street on the highway. It was snowstorm, 9 inches of snow were on the ground, so there wasn't much traffic to worry about. But finding the highway was a problem. But I just looked for the highway. We found it and got down. And we landed, and it was remarkable. Then we took off from there. Another storm came up, and we had the same thing happen. Trying to land in Denver. Another storm went there. So it was just another flying through the air situation, I guess. I thought, well, this is the end. You just cross it off right now. I've lived it my whole life. Forget it.
So there was the flying through the air with football, flying through the air over the heads of horses, and flying through the air literally in an airplane. Kathy, do you remember anything else that Phil might have said?
Just just being tossed around as a young child. Uncles
Yeah.
literally, swing them around in the air.
Yeah, I'm terrified.
Part of the traumatic childhood events was literally being thrown through the air.
Yeah, being played with. I was terrified.
Would it be fair to say that you've got entirely rid of the apnea?
Yeah.
He doesn't stop breathing in the middle of the night anymore. So yeah,
And how's the snoring?
it's very minor. It's occasional and minor, but it's
And,
none of the stop breathing anymore.
and what was it like in the beginning, the snoring?
Snoring was very loud, and he would stop breathing repeatedly through the night. And I kind of have to shake him and wake him up, make him breathe.
You as the partner have a certain amount of trauma as well.
Sure, you have to stay alert through your sleep to make sure you're going to wake them up. Nice once that stopped.
So can you compare the difference in your mobility and your between when we started and when we finished?
1,000% better. It's like just now, after so many years, we've taken other vacations, but we took a real grand vacation just a couple of weeks ago. We went to Alaska, and I walked around, like we made several ports in Juneau. We walked to the streets, went to a museum and library and that sort of thing. I walked around without a walker. I just use a cane now.
So Kathy, would you mind kind of comparing before and after?
So the depression was bad because he was sleep deprived, oxygen deprived. So he just didn't enjoy life, actually. He had a lot of suicidal thoughts at that time. And now that he's now getting some sleep, able to breathe through the night, that has lifted. He's out and about, socializing at least 3 times a week on his own, just getting out with friends, taking other folks to lunch. So he's rejoined the human race. It's very nice.
We celebrated our 53rd wedding anniversary on the trip up to Alaska.
I wanted to mention the book that you've published on Amazon about your experiences on a fast track, and it's the story of your the chapter of your life as a jockey.
Pretty much, yeah.
Kathy, anything you want to add?
Just that it's been very nice. It was so frustrating to try to work with the CPAP and BiPAP machines. It's been much nicer now that there's no machinery involved. We were able to get him past all the sleep apnea with simple sessions with you on the tapping. It was just wonderful.
I just really thank you for the opportunity to connect after 2 years.
Yeah.
And I wish you both so well.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you for his renewed health.
You are so welcome. Contact me on Facebook or my website now for a consultation. I'm Damaris Drury, PhD Psychology, changing the way the world understands central sleep apnea. Please subscribe and hit the notification bell.